Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there everybody, how we doing? Hopefully we are doing well. We're going to talk about the sisterhood and their scams. Because they stay scamming each other. Can y'all hear me well? One second, we're going to get started. Okay. Don't forget to like and share. Okay. So this story actually went viral. What we're going to do is I'm going to read an article pertaining to what I'm talking about before I just dive right in. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, this went viral. I'm going to read the article connected to this. Hopefully you're able to see it. Okay. DC woman accused of squatting in the Airbnb rent-free for nearly a year, and it gets worse. So this is the chick. This is the offending chick. This is the thief, the con artist, the squatter, and the scammer right here on your screen. Okay. From cozy apartments in Paris to rustic New York lofts, Airbnb offers travelers a home-like oasis across the globe and more bang for your buck compared to hotels when the site burst on the scene in 2008. Before Washington, D.C. homeowner, one guest short-term Airbnb booking just exposed what many hosts fear the most after a 32-day reservation turned into a near year-long nightmare. Okay. Now, the first problem is that we don't need to do it. We don't need, you know what? Whatever. The first problem that we're going to talk about is I don't think that Airbnbs and places like that should allow a booking more than 25 days at a time. Less than a month. It has to be less than a month. Okay? Because people will try this because they think, and in some cases rightly so, that if they occupy an apartment or home for 30 days or more, then you have to be legally evicted, even if you're a squatter, even if you got into that place in a temporary way, or in any kind of way where you got into that place in the non-traditional kind of way. Okay. All right. Hey, what's going on, my good sis? Take heed to the message. Listen, when I say this sister be cooking, I usually, whenever I do catch her, it's like in the morning time, maybe like 10 o'clock my time or something like that. And listen, when I tell you this sister be cooking, and she funny and she telling the truth, all wrapped in one. Thank you, my good sis, for the contribution. You have no idea. Listen, she said, my sister has so much respect for you, and I just want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, sweetheart. And definitely the respect street runs both ways. I love her content. I love how she break things down. It's just so real and just so her. I love it. Her channel is called Take Heed to the Message. So you definitely want to click. YouTube allows, I think if you click the 3 little dots next to somebody's name, it can take you to their channel. So please go to her channel and please subscribe to her channel. Thank you so much, sweetheart. And thank you, Black Moonies, became a member. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
I want to thank you for becoming a member and supporting the channel. It means a great deal to me. Because we actually got a lot to cover. I had to choose to do this thing because I still got the whole Danish deception thing with these black women, and this one was a Nigerian and got scammed by a white man. Ooh wee. I'm still in the middle of trying to listen to that. Okay. And so then we got so much other stuff to cover. That Sharon stuff. It's a lot. But today we gonna cover these scams that the sisterhood like to do. So that's the first thing. Going back to what we were talking about, I don't believe that there should be any kind of, unless this is a hotel. For whatever reason, hotels don't seem to go through it as much as Airbnbs do. But I don't think that there should be able to be any booking at 30 days at a time. It has to be less than 30 days, and you have to rebook if you want to stay there. So a whole new agreement. But anyway, we're going to go back. Okay. So Shadija Romero, which is the scam artist's name, claimed that her home had been damaged in a fire and needed a place to stay while it was being repaired in February. This is in February of 2025 that she started this foolishness. Romero used Airbnb to reserve Roshan Douglas's fully furnished unit in DC for 32 days. The reservation, according to the outlet, was scheduled to end March the 29th. However, Romero is reportedly still residing at the property more than 10 months later. Now, just to be clear, the owner of the home, just within the last, I think maybe 48 hours, was able to get a judgment in her favor and evict old girl immediately. I watched the video of her taking all that stuff out of the house. So the lady had to go. So the lady did eventually get her home back just like this week. Okay. Romero, which is the scam artist, allegedly put the home's utilities in her name, removed Douglas's personal property, tampered with the security cameras, and locked Douglas out from the home, according to court documents obtained by the Daily Mail. But that's not all. Douglas alleged that Romero threatened her and attempted to tow her work vehicle because it's Douglas who's pretending to own the home. So she tried to flip it to where the actual owner was trying to bogart her out. Romero, 7 News reported, allegedly signed a document admitting she's not a legal tenant after Douglas offered her $2,500 to sign it in October. But when her eviction date arrived in November the 15th, Romero allegedly claimed the agreement simply no longer works for me. The homeowner claimed Romero told her, "Do what you have to do. I'm not leaving. I went to the police with my order and they say there's nothing they can do, so I need to go to court." Romero deemed a squatter by Douglas not a trespasser, but an unauthorized occupant who actively exploits tenant protection law to remain in a property without paying any rent, refuses to leave the home, claiming the tenant's rights. I never gave her any tenancy, Douglas said. I never gave her a lease. This isn't the first time the Romero has been accused of squatting. Now, mind you, this is a homeless chicken head, okay, in and around D.C. So she go all around squatting and basically making a whole hell for other people who own property. She allegedly has a history of staying in multiple properties for months on end, rent-free, according to court documents. Court records reveal 2 evictions from 2 other DC properties, including an alleged $35,000 debt for unpaid rent at the Jameson Dakota apartment buildings and another $50,000 in back rent at another apartment complex. Real estate attorney Rich Bianco said her alleged history proves she knows what she's doing. He added per the outlet, so this isn't the first rodeo. Now, with that information, no judge should have took more than 10 minutes finding this woman completely guilty, because this isn't the first time your name has come up in a situation pretty much exactly like this. So you are a career criminal. You are a career squatter and things of that nature. So once her name pop up and she in somebody's apartment, somebody's home, a judge or the court should automatically know, no, get her out. Get her out. And they should start assigning jail time. Since you want to stay somewhere rent-free, I got somewhere for you to stay rent-free. I got 3 hots and a cot, and you ain't got to pay rent. You understand? Because you want to be somewhere without paying any rent. You want to stay somewhere for free without having the inconvenience of being in the street and being homeless. So since you want to be somewhere, we got a jail cell with your name on it. Ain't that a coinky dink? It's your name was on it. I was trying to figure out who is Shadija. It's you. And the cell had your name on it. So guess what? We're going to put you in the cell. You ain't got to pay no rent. You understand? And you can stay there in whatever conditions it is for as long. I would combine however long she was at them 3 places, and that's how long her jail sentence would be. That's how long her jail sentence would be. A few years. You just need a few years. I'm put you in jail. And they do this hoping that the person who owns the property does not have other individuals who would do an eviction for them. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you why they do what they do to homeowners and people that own things like that. You own a property, things of that nature. The reason why they do that to them people is because people who own property obviously have something to lose that they don't want to lose. You paid your money, you put equity in this place, you got a mortgage, you paying property tax, all of this type of stuff. You're not trying to lose this investment. So if I come in here and I beat you, okay? If I come in here and I whoop you down to a fine sauce, then I may be looking at a situation to where I really do lose this house because I'm in jail. I can't go to court if I'm in jail, okay, for tearing you up so much that they could sell you by the pound when I get done with you. You understand? So these people who own these properties, especially when you're talking about women who maybe don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know no little YNs that'll come get you for real. Okay? So I don't want to be in jail back and forth at court dates because I done ripped your head off. I done peeled your head back to the white meat. Now I got to try to get in front of this judge and explain Why I done diced you, sliced you, and diced you. Okay? So they're trying to avoid a bigger problem, or what they think would be a bigger problem than dealing with you. Now, I'm pretty sure that there are squatters who don't make the news as to where you got property owners that take that chance with you. I know a couple of YNs, they don't do nothing but play Call of Duty all day. If I tell them to sit in front of this house right here all day and watch it, give them a couple of $100 and some weed, they'll do it. Watch that door. Soon as she dot that door, get her. Don't let her go back in there. Don't let her go back in there. And I want you to take her somewhere and whoop her to a fine sauce and let her out. When you call me when you get her away from the door so I can go and change all the locks and do all this other stuff, bar them out. You understand? It's folks that are going ahead and take that chance. Okay? And so these squatters take a chance too, that they're not running into a homeowner that go ahead, take their head off their shoulders and be done with it. Okay. Fast forward to this year, neighbors claim that they saw Romero and her guests vacate Douglas's property with a fully packed up car and their bags. After Douglas changed the locks and boarded up the home, Romero allegedly returned with her daughter and broke in. There was no electricity, but a judge told Douglas to turn the power back on, and he would have had to catch me like the gingerbread man, because I wouldn't have turned nothing on. Beloved, I ain't turning nothing back on. Turn electric. No, I don't know how to turn it back on. They said they couldn't turn it back on. They said it was too many changes over the past year, and they cannot change it back, and they cannot put it back in my name and things of that nature. Baby, I wouldn't have turned nothing on. It'd have been a catastrophe every night. Anyway, after Romero's controversial interview, now she did an interview. This chick had the audacity to do an actual interview, which I'm going to let you hear. It's like several parts to it. It's so long. I'm not going to play all of it, but it's crazy. This lady's a con artist, one person wrote on YouTube. Another called her a scammer with an appalling lack of conscious accountability and integrity. Third person commented, disgusting that she won't leave this owner's home. Karma will get her. Tenant and squatters' rights vary across America, but in DC and New York, occupants require a court-ordered eviction after 30 days of living there. Romero is seemingly living carefree on social media, posting her trips and promoting her nonprofit. So you trying to just live it up. Okay. This proves to you, before I move on to allow you to hear this foolishness of this lady trying to do an interview, this points out several things. First of all, I keep telling everybody there's no such thing as a sisterhood. These chicks do not care about black girl magic, black women, black nothing. They don't care about any of that. They will get on here and try to act like women such as myself, such as Sister Take Heed to the Message, other sisters, Shay Sade or Chantel, and all the good sis who do content and hold women accountable through the content. They will come and tell us that we do anything for the approval of men, that we are bashing black women, that we are talking down on black women, that we don't like black women, and that we are against black women, which that really could not be further from the truth. We are against foolishness. We are against foolishness and the lack of accountability and the lack of integrity and the overall mindset that a lot of these women present. That is what we are against. But oftentimes when hyenas accuse you of something, it is something that they are projecting, because y'all the ones go out here in the real world and harm other Black women. Y'all harm other Black women. Y'all bankrupt, scam, and con other Black women under the guise of sisterhood. Y'all do it to other Black women under the guise of that same sisterhood lie that it don't really even exist. So y'all will come among your own. You will cannibalize other Black women that you do not know. These women have not done anything to you. These women was minding their business and living their life. This woman wasn't doing anything but trying to make some extra cash on the side by having a property that she owned and that she rented it out as an Airbnb. That's all she was doing. Perfectly legal. Nothing illegal about that. Nothing wrong with that. Here y'all come to disenfranchise this lady. You had every intention of staying in that home, bogarting it as much as you could, and put that lady out of her home, and all of her investment, every piece of dollar or effort that she put into that place, gone. And you don't care and don't know what that would have done to her financially and otherwise in the background. And then the other thing that it points out is y'all ain't never wrong as hyenas. This chick went so far as to appear on the news to conduct an interview, to participate in an interview, all in an effort to make herself seem legitimate when you know full well you wrong. What we're going to do is I'm going to cut to an early commercial break, and then we're going to come back. So after these messages, we'll be right back. So I need everybody to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. If you want to keep your skin looking and feeling its absolute best, keep it smelling good, nice and smooth, this is the time to get that body butter that's on the screen right now. This is also the season. So get a gift for yourself. Get a gift for your loved ones who would greatly appreciate high quality products and personal care products such as this. If this is going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson at checkout. Once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Okay. I owe you guys a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, Big E. So this is why you need goons. Exactly. So we are going to, and thank you for the Cash App as well that I received. I appreciate all of the donation contributions. These are not donations. I appreciate all of the contributions that you guys bring to the show and bring to this platform in a support of this platform. I greatly appreciate it. And it is because of those contributions that allow me to come here at all. Thank you so much, Arvin. Dang, she got more game than a Sears Christmas book. Not a Sears Christmas book. You went all the way back, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for that contribution. So what we're going to do is we are going to get back into it. I'm not going to show the actual video. You're going to be looking at my mug, but you'll be able to hear it though. Thank you so much. David said a sisterhood is bums. A bunch of them is bums. That's what they don't want nobody to talk about. They don't want nobody to talk about the deadbeats, the bums, the irresponsibility. There's another story that I want to talk about the bum that let that baby walk in the cold and the snow with no shoes or nothing. The black man had to find the baby, and because he didn't want to look funny, he didn't get the baby and put the baby in the car. He walked with the baby 6 blocks, I think, back to the baby house or something like that. I had to go back and get the details. But he was crying. And they went on and arrested old girl. So we got to talk about that. The bums and these deadbeat females out here. Okay? And it's sad that females have done such damage that man was apprehensive of putting the baby in his warm vehicle with him. And I understand why he did it. I don't blame him. But it's just that he had to think about that. He had to stifle his humanitarian instinct to keep the baby warm and don't make the baby walk, until he had to try to think about, I need to protect myself, because as I'm trying to be a good Samaritan, they might turn it around on me. But we're not going to go there. We're going to come back to this foolishness right here. So like I said, you're going to look at my ugly mug as we listen to this foolishness right here.
So first, let's just start with your first name and your last name and how you spell it.
Shadi Jerome. That's fine. Just maybe not the screen door, since we don't know if
So just close which one?
that door.
Okay. Got it. Okay. First name and last name, it's spelled for me, love.
Shadija Romero.
Y'all can hear this, right?
Dija. Last name Romero.
Okay, so we know why we are here. Tell me how it got to this point.
In February of this year, I moved into the unit initially through an Airbnb. There was a month agreement, which I paid for on the Airbnb platform due to a fire, which...
Before I even let it continue, I hate when they be getting on here trying to act like they so sophisticated and they're so articulate. Ma'am, you are a homeless bum who is squatting on people's property back to back to back. You are trying to live a life where you are not responsible for even paying any rent like a normal person. He said, don't call his wife ugly. Don't put the mad face. Okay, don't put the mad face. Now, you admit how you move in through Airbnb. Airbnb does not have normal tenant landlord leases to sign. It's literally a hotel stay. It's literally a temporary stay. So you see how they lie, trying to be articulate. She fixing her glasses like she really about to break something down. Girl, what?
I then asked the owner if we could extend the time frame in the home. We came to an agreement that I could do that. She sent me monthly invoices, which I paid those monthly invoices in order to stay in the unit. I had a month where I had a financial loss of over like $17,000.
Was that due to work or personal?
It's a personal issue.
Now, mind you, she's saying, oh, she sent me invoices. She didn't say, I continued to rent it through Airbnb. Once that initial stay ran out, I rebooked it through Airbnb for these months. So Airbnb would have record of the agreement and the payment through the app. If you were being legit, ain't no off app payment, because now it become your word versus my word. And where's the proof of this? I'm gonna need the invoice she sent you, and I'm going to need a screenshot of the money when you wired it, when you transferred it out of your account into her account. How you lose 17 stacks in a month? So you had 17 stacks. So what you do? It be lying in your face. It's the plan in the face for me. I don't know how some people do it. I would just have to pop somebody dead in their mouth. Your whole grill. Because what? I would have made it my business to rent a car so that she wouldn't know what car I'm in, and sit out there and wait for her to come in and out of that place, and dog walk her when she come out of there. Oh, baby, it would have been a whole nightmare every time. I would have dog walk. Listen, I might have to go ahead, take a charge. Might have to go ahead, take a charge. Have somebody to change the locks for me. If they book me tonight, change the locks now. Go in the account, get the money, change the locks right now, immediate, and board the windows up and board everything up right now. Go ahead, take the charge. We'll be right in front of the judge. Yes, I did break both her kneecaps. I absolutely did. Or play dumb, like she playing dumb, like she don't know how she a squatter. I wouldn't know how them knees got busted, baby. I don't know nothing about her knees. Ask her about them check engine lights on them knees, baby. I ain't do nothing to her knees. Baby, catch me if you can, like the gingerbread man. It would have had to been somebody's Ring camera, baby.
I helped someone in the past and it came back to bite me because everyone can see, you can search me because I'm not hiding from anyone. So they were able to find me, and then I was held liable for something I helped someone do. So that put me in a financial strain. But either way, I paid. I still made the payment. I made the payment late because I had the issue. I'm sorry, I'm emotional. I didn't mean to get emotional. I'm trying to speak clearly.
How you getting emotional from a con you running? They think crying get them out of everything. These hyenas will cry with other women. Baby, I don't care. That crying, that hyena crying, that don't work with women. That don't work with women. I don't care nothing about your soft feelings. Harden them up. I'm going to need you to toughen them up. Because I don't care nothing about them being soft, baby. I can guarantee you that. You going to have to cry to the Negro that you let crack in that thing. Maybe it'll work on him. But over here, I'm another female. Oh, baby, that ain't going to do nothing. But if it don't do nothing else, going to tick me off. Because who you crying in front of? What you thought that was supposed to do for me?
the financial thing was, like I said, almost $17,000. So it sent me into a depression where I was considering suicide because it was such a big loss. I was trying to purchase a home.
Do you need a rope and a chair, beloved? Huh? Just call me. Go ahead, call me Dr. Kevorkian. For those of you who old enough, you remember who he is, baby. I'm gonna assist you. You can get assistance.
That's why I had so much money. But anyway, I paid the rent. I paid it late. In October, there was the same thing. With the invoice being sent, the invoices being sent every month. Prior to me going out of the country, well, actually, I was going to make a payment on the 15th of October. On the 15th of October, my daughter's car, her steering wheel locked while she was driving, and I had to get to her because she was on the roadway, and the issue I needed to make sure that she was safe and get her car resolved. That took me past the hours of bank hours, so I didn't make my payment on that day because the bank had closed. I had the emergency situation with my daughter.
So what you telling me is you got big bank, but every time a payment, excuse me, you got big bank, but every time a payment need to be made, it's an emergency. Your daughter's steering wheel locked up as she was driving. Well, baby, what kind of car that is? What kind of car that is? I want to know what kind of car that is. Who that is? Who that is? I want to know what kind of car that is. Because what? So every time you turn around, when it was time to pay, there was some kind of funny business as to where you could not pay. But you said you paid every month. That's what you said. That's what you said. That's what you said. You. It came out of your mouth. You said you paid every month and you got invoices. Really? Not it was a Sentra. Not it would be a Nissan. Because I do not like Nissans. I'm gonna tell you that. I do not like a Nissan. I don't know what it is about them cars. They ride bad. And the suspension seem like it's bad all the time. And it seems like them tires ain't real good on them no matter what. And I just do not like a Nissan. Your daughter driving a little clapped up Altima. Mm-hmm.
The next day, I went to retrieve the funds for the payment because I was going out of the country and I wanted it, taken care of while I was gone. But it wasn't. The money was lost. I wasn't aware of that while I was gone. I came back, and so the 15th was the day the payment was due. 16th, I went out of the country. When I went out of the country, because I had just had that big financial loss, I turned all of my phones off because I was trying to decompress from, what I had been experiencing.
Are y'all hearing this foolishness? The money was due on the 15th, and on the 16th, I went out of the country to decompress because I had a financial loss. But if the loss was so substantial, how you get money to go out of the country? How did you get that money? And if you owe money the day before you leave, so you didn't make sure to pay anything before you booked the ticket. See, I'm gonna have to smack her.
And I didn't turn my phones back on until later that Monday when I came.
And turn your phone off. Say, baby, don't bother me. Say, baby, she turned the phone off. Do you understand? Baby, she put you on do not disturb. Okay? You cannot call. You cannot text. All right, baby, I am doing me. Okay? So I don't need you calling, texting, worrying me, talking about no money. It be the entitlement. Now you don't want to be bothered. You don't want to be bothered. I'm bothering you.
Into the property on that Monday, so that's like maybe 6 days after the rent was due. The electricity to the home had been cut off. And at that point, that's when I was made aware that the payment had not been made. I then called Pepco to figure out, at first I thought maybe it was a power outage. So first I called Pepco, found out it wasn't a power outage and that the owners had turned off they had turned off the electricity.
The owner. See how she slipped up? But I thought you were legally there. So if it's the owner, she got a right to put you out. Do she not? Because you're not the owner, but you claim you was the owner and that she was trying to trick everybody into thinking you were not the owner. Girl. This is what I mean by, I'm gonna give y'all a little nugget. This is what I mean by women are emotional conviction. When we talk about manifesting things and needing emotional conviction, the reason why women are the main facilitators of that is because we have an astounding ability to imagine something and it's real. Okay? Because in order to bring something to fruition, you have to be convicted about this thing. Okay? Part of that conviction, part of that faith that you have to have is you have to be able to imagine it as if it was real. The key thing about the subconscious mind is your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a lie and the truth. If you feel it and you feel convicted by that thought, your subconscious mind will take it as true. It doesn't know the difference between something you vividly imagine and something that actually took place. Your subconscious mind does not make that distinction. Your conscious mind makes that distinction, not your subconscious mind. And women have a distinct ability to do this and become convicted by this thought. Now, when you're doing it correctly, this is when you imagine something, like you imagine that it, like when I was overweight, I imagined myself thin. When I was really overweight and I decided I wanted to lose weight, I imagined what I looked like without that weight. And I convinced myself that that is me. The fat me is not me. The thin me is me. And because I was convicted by that thought, I did everything to make it true, to make me not the fat me, to make me the thin me. It worked. This works for everybody, but women have a distinct ability for this more than men do. Which is why when your chick crazy, she can make up a whole scenario in her head and be mad at you about it. The reason that I'm bringing it up is because this chick is doing that right now. She has made and concocted a whole lie and a scenario, and she's trying in her desperation to convince other people that she's telling the truth. She is low-key convincing herself that the lie is true to such an extent that she's quote unquote becoming emotional about it. I know that went over 90% of y'all heads, but for the 10% that actually understand what I just said, just like men have the ability to come up with a system and implement it, I imagine women's imagination is nearly unmatched. It's nearly unmatched. We can imagine anything and make it true. We can make it true to us. We can have an emotional conviction behind it, whether it's true or not. Okay. So when that combination is working righteously, it's unstoppable. When it's working toxically, it ends in all kind of destruction and foolishness. Okay? So when women are toxic, when we talk about toxic females, these hyenas, females that want to be out here not thinking, no spiritual guidance, no type of integrity, they don't operate in righteousness at all, they don't have a moral compass and things of that nature. It's very dangerous for women not to have moral compass. Because the way our emotions and subconscious mind works, we can manifest stuff for real. We can do it. We can make stuff come up because we put the energy behind it. We keep putting energy behind certain stuff and then it come up. So if she's toxic, she's going to put energy behind foolishness and toxicity and dangerous situations. And she'll create those dangerous situations and other people will bear the consequences for it. Women are quite powerful, actually. Women are powerful. They don't know it. And the ones who can tap it and they don't got no God, they don't got no righteousness, they don't got no moral compass, they're going to be toxic and they're going to endanger others because they don't really know how they're doing what they're doing. They just doing it. So the negative form of that is witchcraft. The positive form of that is prayer. Please understand that. The negative form of all of that is forms of witchcraft. Because women can gather a lot of energy, emotional energy for stuff. The righteous way to do that is actually prayer. When women are doing that righteously, we go to God to guide that emotional power. This is why Sisterhood is wrong. This is why witchcraft is wrong. It's not wrong because it don't work. It's wrong because it does work, but you're trying to negate God out of it so that you don't have to answer to a moral standard in order to do what you're doing.
So then the electricity was turned on because then so that we could have power. They turned the power back off because they said I had no right to turn the power on. I went to the courthouse that following day to file an emergency hearing because they had turned the power off, and I didn't want them to be able to turn the power off again. No point prior to this did I state anything about like tenant rights. Was I worried about anything about tenant rights? Because up until that point, everything was being paid every month. Even if it was paid 2 days late, it was paid. After that, we've now progressed to the point where they come to the home almost every other day. I called the police. The police informed them that I was a resident or a tenant here. She said that we didn't have a lease, which we do not have a lease in place, but we did have an agreement for me to stay at the property beyond the initial Airbnb time frame. So she's been back to the property almost every day. They installed signs. The police told me that I could take down.
So basically, you cop into the fact that she been trying to get you out of there, and you just ain't gonna go, and you ain't been paying. Even if you had a regular lease, once you stop paying, but you don't leave, you're still a squatter now. Now you're a squatter. But I can understand a landlord having to go through the legal process for that more than I can understand a landlord having to go through a legal process when there was no lease to begin with. Neither one of the situations is right from the quote unquote tenant standpoint, but at least I can kind of understand if I signed a lease with you and let's say I signed a year lease with you, I paid 6 months and then the last 6 months I call myself not paying. Okay, now you got to go through the court system and get me out. I understand that part. What I don't understand is having to go through that same process, but we never had a lease. I'm just there. You look up all of a sudden and I'm sitting there looking at you and you looking at me. Exactly. Okay. We need to talk about that probably in Discord or something, because people do not realize why witchcraft is real. People think it's hocus pocus, and it's not. There are shams, but then there are real witches and warlocks who actually know how to do it. And then there's the people who doing spells and they don't know. This is what I say, women are very powerful with the tongue. Our tongue is lethal. It's we can build and destroy. We can build and destroy with this. This is how powerful women are. God gave men physical strength. He gave us the strength of this. Please understand that. God gave men physical dominance. A woman can't do nothing with a man's physicality. Once he decides he want to dominate you physically, he can do that pretty much at will. We dominate you here. This is the tool. And it is just as powerful as his physical prowess. It is. Just like he can build and destroy with his physical prowess, we can do it with this. This is why the curse of mothers, this is why when mothers talk, it's something special. She can build her children or destroy them. This is one of the reasons why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he warned the people of what he saw when he was shown hellfire, he was shown heaven, he was shown hellfire, and he was shown some of the punishments. And he said that there are a lot of women who are going into the hellfire, and it was asked why. And it was two main reasons, not all the reasons, but two main reasons. The disobedience to the husbands, not disobedience, the ingratitude to the husbands, And the second one was the cursing of their children. Cursing their children. And it didn't necessarily mean like profane words, but cursing them. You'll never be nothing. You're a failure. I hate you. You ain't gonna never make it. I wish you was never born. You're garbage. You're ugly. You're stupid. You're fat. You're slow. You're dumb. Okay. Those were the two main reasons why the women were going to hell: ingratitude to their husbands and curses over their children. The power of a woman's tongue.
The signs, because they were not legal signs issued by the court, they were signs that she had just had made in an attempt to try to harass me more and force me out of the property sooner. I told them that I could not be out of the property within a short period of time because I had just had that financial issue, but that I would go through this process that DC has to assist people who have had financial issue in order to pay the rent. Informed that I would go through that, and that while they were going through the legal process while they initiated the legal process, because they had never initiated the legal process before to like have me move from the property, that I would ensure that everything was paid. And then it's just been a continuance of them, the police and you.
What I don't like also is that the interviewer is letting her talk uninterrupted. I don't like that. Interrupt her with some questions. You conducting an interview to get down to the truth of the matter, supposedly. She went unchecked. These weren't even so much as softball questions. There were no questions. Well, if you had the simple questions was not even asked. If you were having financial difficulty, how is it that you went on a trip and why weren't you paying? Or how is it that you were paying without the money, yet you had money to go on a trip? See, this is the foolishness. Because how you let her talk uninterrupted, and she lying and contradicting herself the whole way. This is 15 minutes of her lying and contradicting herself and talking over herself. This is why I can't stand listening to women talk for an extended amount of time. I can't listen to hyenas because hyenas don't talk no sense. And I'm a woman and I speak womanese, and it's tiring for me. Hyenas get to babbling, doing that hyena babbling and talking. They get to doing all that hyena babbling and can on. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. It sound crazy. What? What that mean? See, see, now you talking real stupid. Because you study saying stuff. And it don't make no dang on sense. How that make sense? Back that up. How that make sense? And she think that's soft talking. I hate that when they get on the panel and they, well, you know, I'm just trying. Girl, you don't sound intelligent. You sound stupid. You sound like you lying. You sound like you own one right now. Like you just trying to say anything to make yourself not be accountable and not be in the wrong and not be the one that need to be. Girl, I'm going to get to the super chats in just a moment, because even though it's in several parts, I'm only going to play. No, this one was only like 7 minutes. This wasn't a long one. The next one is 15 minutes. Good God Almighty. Let's try to finish this out as much as possible.
You coming to the home, and the power is currently off. So, yes.
Well, thank you for sharing your side, one. I heard you mention the tragedies of financial loss. I do know also when I went through the court records, the messages between you two, the Airbnb reservation, things like that. I heard you say there were payments, but transaction-wise, there was nothing for nearly 9-10 months, July.
No, that's incorrect. And I can prove to you, I can show you the receipts that she sent me. The owner sent me.
I had to go to part 2. Baby, you finally asked a question at the end, girl. So what she's saying is, in court, baby, you didn't prove nothing, baby. You said you was paying, but baby, it wasn't not no transactions. She go, nah, I paid. Girl, you didn't prove it to the court that you paid nothing. We gonna let it hear just a little bit.
Direct links every month after March for payments. So I have been making payments via a PayPal link that they sent. If I can go and grab my phone, I can even show you a receipt that says it's to, I don't want to say the name, but the name of their investment group that I guess oversees the property. So I have been making payments. The first payment was made directly through Airbnb. After that time frame, we made an agreement that I would stay after, and she sent me direct links through PayPal to make the payments every month. 1 or 2 months, I didn't make the payment through PayPal. I made it through Apple Pay or through Zelle, but the payment was made. So every month she had to send me an invoice. I didn't have to request the invoice. She just sent the invoice because we were in agreement that I would be staying at the property. So that's untrue. I have not been here for 9-10 months and not been paying. That is inaccurate.
Okay.
And
I'll let you get after me, just so we can run through all the, in case you have to get anything else.
And as the reporter, she'd have had to bring up the screenshots right now. You got your phone is linked to everything. Phones is linked to PayPal, banks, Cash App, Zelles, Venmos, and every other form of payment that you would need. Apple Pay is really right there. She would have had to show that to me. Right there. Even if we didn't show it on camera or we blurted out, she would have had to show that to me. Show me all of the payments that you made. Because if you saying that lady made you an agreement off of outside of Airbnb, and she told you to pay through PayPal and you start paying however you wanted to pay, that means you was not paying. You didn't pay nobody nothing. She'd had to show me right there. We're not going to answer or ask another question or talk in circles, not damn more time. Show me, bring me up the last 6 months worth of payments. I want to see them. Right there on your phone. Right now. No, right now. Because I don't know why you could not have shown this to the judge. If you showed this to the judge and the judge did not accept it, why come the judge didn't accept it? She'd have been mad at me back then. She'd have had to cry. She'd have had to cry and fix them little ugly claymation mint green glasses on her face, baby. She'd have had to cry on her bubble vest. How you doing an interview with a haircut straight out of the Three Stooges, a toe-up denim shirt, and a bubble vest, beloved? Huh? She'd have had to unzip that bubble vest today, baby. She'd have been mad at me about that, baby. She'd have had to unzip that bubble vest. She'd have had to fold them glasses back down, baby. Ha! Because what? No, I want to see the receipts on your phone. Yes, no? You don't, huh? You don't have them? Where did they go? You deleted your proof of payment? That doesn't seem very smart. She'd have been mad at me, baby. Okay? She'd have been mad at me. She'd have had to take them clip-on earrings off.
Let's start from the beginning. When you made the Airbnb reservation, because I saw the reservation, you mentioned it was for a fire. Around that same time, court records show at your previous apartment, you were also getting evicted for not paying rent. And
so that wasn't for that place. It was for a previous place where something happened during COVID when everyone was not receiving payment. I'm an entrepreneur and I also have a nonprofit. So that's what that was for. The fire that I actually had a fire. There's a police report, a fire report for it. The police came out, the fire department came out, determined that it was an electrical issue in the wall that then created.
Was it at the same apartment building?
For
Ava Noma, that apartment, because that says 2023. It was you were there 2023, 2024.
So Ava Noma is where I had the fire. Yes.
Ava Noma is the one showing that you were in the process of being evicted for paying 1 month's rent when you were there for 13.
So no, that would not be accurate.
How you have a fire at your home, but you don't have a home? You was renting an apartment fraudulently. What? Thank you for finally asking a question. Because make it make sense. I'm going to need you. I'm going to need you to take a brush and go through that Mo and Curly situation that you got on your head and readjust your bubble coat, because we're going to get into it today, ma'am. You said home, indicating that you owned a home that burned down or had fire damage to the point where you could no longer live there until it was repaired. That does not fly if you were actually, quote unquote, renting an apartment and the real estate company or the landlord was evicting you for lack of payment. Because if you were out because of an electrical fire that was not caused by you, and let's just say you're renting an apartment, and because the building is not up to code, there was an electrical fire in the wall and it damaged the unit, the landlord or the real estate company would have been responsible for paying for temporary housing, like a hotel stay or something like that, until they either give you another unit or repair the unit that you were in. Depending on whether or not you had renter's insurance, you would have been able to, get you an insurance payment for any damages of your property that was damaged according to the fire. You would have been able to deal with the real estate company or the landlord directly. Ain't no eviction. Unless you just want to leave, then you can just move, probably without any penalty in breaking your lease, because the unit is not habitable. Ma'am.
So the court records are not accurate?
I did not go to court for eviction for Ava Noma. I did have a fire at that unit, yes.
Okay. Just so you know, court records do show that they were evicting you. It has documents you also filed in that process. It also shows.
Not the camera done zoomed up. Not the cameraman messy. He zoomed right in on them ugly glasses that you did not clean.
Was you trying to apply for EREP to stay there?
No, I applied for it now through here, not for Ava Noma, because my payments were made for Ava Noma.
Okay. Just so you know, the court records do show something different. Might hear you on that. You mentioned that you're saying from the start of your Airbnb reservation to now, you've made every single payment.
Correct. And I can show you the receipts for those.
Okay. So you're saying.
And right there, she'd have had to produce them. Okay, well, show them to me. Right here, Mo. I want you showing them to me right here, Mo. And Mo.
Shane Douglas, the homeowner, is essentially lying and saying that you have not made
Any
those payments.
Correct.
Okay.
She sent me links, direct PayPal links for payment.
Okay.
And there's no way I could pay it without having the PayPal links or having her Zelle information in order to send her those payments.
Okay. In some of the text messages between you and her, you did acknowledge that you hadn't paid.
Which month? Was it a May?
Multiple months, starting around August to now.
No. So it may have been okay, I didn't pay it yet, but it was then paid. But I have a payment for my August. I have receipts for my August payment, July, June, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. I have payments, receipts that show that.
Did you book the Airbnb with the intention of staying?
No, I did not book the Airbnb with the intent of staying.
So why are you still here?
Because after the repairs were done, the place still smelled like fire and there was water damage. So the water damage was more substantial than the fire damage. And once they started doing the repairs and even completed the repairs, when we went back into the unit, the lease was actually up in April of that year. Once they completed the repairs in about May, everything still smelled like water and fire. And at that point, now the lease was up.
Okay.
The lease was for an additional 20, I'm not sure, but it was for an extended period. So it was more than a year.
Okay.
And so the lease was officially up in April.
The lease was up in April.
And so then I had started a process with LEDC.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a nationally syndicated interview with a national news company, knowing that you are in the wrong, scamming and conning is insane. That go crazy. You what? Girl, you know you. Not Doc Ock. Not, and got the hairstyle. Hold on. Hold up now. Not kind of rocking the hairstyle a little bit. Hold on. Not kind of like the hairstyle just a tad. Can y'all see this? Not the hairstyle a little bit. Ooh-wee. Not you terrorizing Peter, but got a crush on Aunt May at the same time.
To purchase a home.
Okay. And you're saying you're still here because the home purchase didn't complete, or?
Correct. So I started the home buying process with LEDC. They have a program where I believe it's called HPAP. HPAP will assist you with paying your down payment costs. This year, they switched the program to a lottery program for that assistance. So with the program, they will pay your down payment and and your closing costs. Before, the program was just you applied and you got in. This year, it turned to a lottery. That program didn't actually open up until November. Okay. So the program didn't.
So let me get this straight. You was in an apartment. The apartment caught on fire. You rented the Airbnb so that they could repair the apartment. Yet, at the same time, you was trying to go through a home buying process that just so happened to fall through. Just a few more minutes because the lies just keep on piling up. It's crazy work. It's kind of weirdly intriguing that she can just sit here and lie. Just lie like a rug.
And open up for you to even be considered for the lottery until November.
Where are you in that process? Or let me ask you this. You mentioned you didn't, in the middle of your Airbnb process, you didn't go back to your apartment because it still smelled like smoke.
And water damage.
What makes you choose to stay here instead when the homeowner has made clear she doesn't want you here, doesn't want to be a landlord? There's now no utilities on. There's wood boarded up. There's a sign outside saying she doesn't want you here. What's making you choose to stay?
So no, that didn't start until literally this month.
What didn't start?
The sign on the building or the utility, that wasn't something that happened prior to this month. So if that had happened months ago and that was something that I've been dealing with for months, I would leave. Okay. So now with all of this going on, I am going to leave. The process was never to stay here for forever. The plan was to go back, and then if not, then purchase a home, which is why I started the home buying process. Now that we are going through this here, I am going, even though we're going to still go through the court process, which I filed documents. No one filed documents initially. So if anyone was trying to get me out of the home, they would have filed paperwork to get me out of the home and any of the months that they said that I did not make payments. That didn't happen. No one filed paperwork. The Douglases didn't file paperwork until I filed paperwork.
They did give you a 30-day notice.
Which for 1 month that they did not receive a payment, and then they received the payment later. So let's say you're in an apartment or your home. Do you rent or do you own?
Own, but I also have a signed contract saying that I own, and or when I rented, I have a signed lease saying that I own.
So have you ever rented before?
Yes.
Okay. So when you pay your rent, if you don't pay your rent after, let's say the 5th, then you get a notice that you didn't pay your rent, correct? Right. And then that notice might say, you haven't paid your rent. You need to pay the rent. We're filing this paperwork in the courthouse because you have not filed this paperwork. If you don't pay, then you need to vacate the unit.
Right.
Okay. So whenever she's provided a vacate notice, it might have been because the payment had not been received yet. Once the payment was received, she would send another invoice. And now we're in another month because that month that she did the vacate notice for was because the payment was late. If the payment was made, then there were no other issues. She then sent another invoice for the next month, and there was no longer an issue. The vacate notice would be if there wasn't payment made. So just like your apartment, like I said, if you rent an apartment, you pay the rent late, they give you a notice that you haven't made the payment. You make the payment, and then everything is fine. And that is what has happened. So it has not been since I've been here in February that I have not been making payments. That is incorrect.
Did the Douglases ever, or did you and the Douglases ever sign a document or agree to you renting this property outside of that Airbnb reservation?
We have text messages, yes, where they agreed to me staying in the property after the initial Airbnb rental period.
So even as I was listening to the court hearing, it was stated that after the Airbnb 32 days was up, you mentioned you want to extend your stay at the Airbnb. Mm-hmm. And that's what that extension was, an extension of being an Airbnb guest. Are you saying you took that as an extension of I'm now renting
No. So we did not rent. We no longer did any rentals through Airbnb. The Airbnb rental was only 1 month through Airbnb. After that time frame, I went through paying the owners directly. So we extended the time frame. They agreed to allow me to stay in the space to whenever, I guess, until I don't make a payment.
To whenever. That sound like something that a landlord would do without proper lease and paperwork. You can just stay however long. Who does that? Even when you are renting through the proper channels, the lease has a time period on it. Once the lease is up, it depends on the landlord or not. Because usually once a lease is up, if the landlord continues to accept the rent after the lease is up without making you sign another one, that's called month to month. And if you go into a court, they still have to do the normal eviction process. Okay? If you can prove to a court that even without the lease, I was paying the rent and they accepted the rent, then that is an acceptance of you staying in that unit for that month. Every month is up, but as long as they keep accepting money, they're agreeing that you paid me so you can stay. That's called a month-to-month agreement. Now, at any time, the landlord can ask you to leave the property. However, you can do so voluntarily, or you can make them go through the eviction process as you look for an apartment or something like that. They can decide that they don't want to accept the rent anymore. It ends it when you send rent and they don't accept it. If they say, no, we don't want the rent. Let's say they give it back. We don't want the rent. That means you got to go. That means you have to go. But that would be under normal circumstances. Under this circumstance, she was unable to prove that she was making any payments at all. She never paid that lady. She didn't pay that lady anything. That lady had been trying to get her out since that Airbnb payment, and that woman would not leave. We'll listen to a little bit more.
And then they go through a process. The initial process was not to stay in here for an extended amount of time. No, but it was to stay beyond well, it wasn't even to stay beyond the 30 days. But once we knew that I had to stay beyond the initial Airbnb rental, we no longer went through Airbnb. So there was never an extension of the Airbnb. Everything went directly through the owner. You're saying Airbnb as if I went to the Airbnb, rented it for 30 days, said I'm staying, and I'm not paying you anything. And then since that 30 days in February or March, it would have ended, I've been staying here without them knowing, and I haven't been paying. That would be inaccurate.
So you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that after the 30-day and everything was on Airbnb, once it left Airbnb, that's when the agreement started to you a month-to-month stay
Correct.
here.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned that you are going to leave, but you're going to go through the court process.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm going to leave before the court process finishes, but we are still going to go through the court process.
And why is that?
Because now you have caused me, when you decided to lock. So the police informed her that they are not allowed to enter the property without 48 hours written notice, because I was staying here. Okay. On Thanksgiving, while I left to have Thanksgiving, they entered the unit without my knowledge, to change the locks, turn off the power. That is when they didn't turn the power off through Pepco. They did something to the breaker box, where then the breaker box is not sending power to the home. After she turned the power off in the home, When we got into the home, she then called CPS to tell them that my younger daughter, was in the home without power, but my daughter was leaving. She left. She hasn't stayed here because.
So you went through all of this with a so-called landlord that you agreed to be there with, and you still went through it? The story is a lie, and it don't make no sense. I'm done listening to her foolish man. Let me get to these super chats, y'all. Thank you, Juan said, interesting how the sisterhood is full of bums, yet these are the main ones that we call black men. They don't like bums. Interesting. Right. Thank you, Damien says, say it again, my sister. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Gregory says, salute Crimson. Ever since I was young, I've been amazed how some individuals can come up with such fantastic stories. Exactly. Thank you so much. Elder being for the contribution said this got issues. That yes, exactly. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Oh, he said it was a misspelling. Thank you again. So the sister got issues, another 20 for misspelled. No problem. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ezel said a Christmas catalog was the best Christmas catalog. Listen, I used to, back in the day, you could not stop me from getting a Sunday paper. Okay, so in Chicago, we used to have the Sun-Times in the Tribune, but I ain't never liked the Tribune. I like the Sun-Times. And that Sunday Sun-Times paper used to have all the sales papers. So when we was young, it used to have, around Christmas time or whatever, it would have all of the Toys R Us ones and all the toys. And man, I used to be going through them. Man, listen, I don't know why I enjoyed that so much. I ain't getting our nan toy out of it, but I enjoyed looking at the pictures. Thanks. I meant to say the Spiegel catalog was the best Christmas catalog. Thank you to Rizzo for that power of the tongue. Me and use your voices and neuro-linguistic programming. You all seen me mention it several times. Speaking and spell casting. Happy Friday, twin. Sincerely, the king of swords or words. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Stephanie said one of my besties had a squatter at her condo in Brooklyn. It took 3 years to get her out, back and forth to court. New York is a squatter's. It is. I would not be renting property in New York. No, you're not gonna do me. Thank you, David, for the super sticker. I appreciate you. And thank you, Frederick, for the super sticker as well. I appreciate you guys for all of your support. See, it would be a mysterious fire. I'm sorry. That was bad. Not with people in it. Do that make it better? I wouldn't be trying to have people in it. But it would certainly be a mysterious set of break-ins. They study running up into that apartment. You understand? Just terrorize you. Anyway. Sis said a mysterious mystery, baby, a Scooby-Doo mystery. It'd have been a whole Scooby-Doo mystery, baby. And I would have got away with it had you not been for you darn kids. Baby, it'd have been a whole Scooby-Doo. They'd have had to go ahead and pull the little monster mask off. Baby. the back of the squad car with a little sheet on. See, you gotta get creative. You gotta get creative to get folk out. That place would have been haunted. It would have been all kind of poltergeists and stuff like that up in there. Baby, them cabinets would have been shut. Don't play with me. I'll plant some bed bugs in there. That'll get you. Oh, that'll get you because folks don't know how to get rid of them. You be ate up every night. Take a thing for the bed bugs, just put them on the bed. Baby, they be done reproduced. It'll be 100 of them in there by next week. She has so many infestations. She done had so many infestations. Wonder how that happened. Go ahead, put your wasp nest in the wall. I'll pay to get it out later. You won't know where all the woo-wee, you won't know where they come from. It do, but most folk don't know that. That's the only thing really kill a bed bug is heat. They don't like that heat. Anyway, I'm going ahead on and get up out of here. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. All right. Bye-bye, Crimsonites. And this was my perspective.